Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Entrepreneurship Matters. My name is Alicia Wilson. I'm Vice President for Economic Development for Johns Hopkins University and Johns Hopkins Health System. And it is my honor to actually present to some of you, introduce to others, the sweetest sounding entrepreneurs that we have ever had on this show, Joe Wellsey and John Tyler. Two amazing men, and I'm going to set us up for the show, and then I'm going to invite us into a conversation. I promise you, you do not want to miss this. If you're at work, just take your lunch now, because these are two of the most, I would say, impressive men that I've been able to have on here. So we know that entrepreneurship businesses aren't started in a day. It takes a long-term commitment, multiple failures, and a business acumen to make it happen. And these two gentlemen are no different. I'm going to invite John Tyler and Joe Wellsey to come on screen as I give you their bios, which are significantly impressive. So first, I want to introduce you to John Tyler. He is a 21-year-old artist, founder of Love Groove Music Festival, and film score for Under Armour, Bloomberg Philanthropies, Visit Baltimore, and Maryland Public Television. He has been featured in Hulu advertisements, BET Instagram promotions, Baltimore Magazine, the Afro newspaper, Baltimore Sun, Be More Art. Where have you not been featured? Baltimore 92Q, everywhere. At 16, John released his first mixtape and has since released two more. In 2019, John's debut album, The Good Side of Things, dropped, setting a high standard for Baltimore music. This project highlights his abilities to merge multiple genres into one. At 17, John started the Love Groove Music Festival. I don't even know what I was doing at 17. He's starting festivals to bring together young artists from different genres of art to showcase talent and to offer learning and networking opportunities. This year marks his fifth showcase, partnering with Hot Sauce Artists Collective, Baltimore Center Stage, Blueprints for Artists to bring an ultimate music, arts, and educational festival here to Baltimore. John aspires to be a touring artist. It is going to happen, John. Compose music for major films and to continue to give back to his community through Love Groove Festival. It is Love Groove Music Festival. It is a pleasure to have you on, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that grand introduction. That was incredible. You were amazing. Appreciate the love.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Next, it is my pleasure to introduce and present to others Joe Wellsey of Inkwell Recording Studios. He is the owner and CEO of Inkwell Recording Studios. Joe, as he is affectionately known, a graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and is an active member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. He currently serves as the Director of Alumni Activities and Events for his alma mater, Bowie State University. He is also a proud alumna of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. Bravo, my friend. He is a firm believer that small businesses are engines of economic growth and is using his influence to encourage other entrepreneurs to follow his path. In his spare time, he enjoys traveling and playing golf. Welcome, Joe. It is a pleasure to have you on today.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How is everybody feeling?
Good, good. We already have people commenting in the chat. So let me tell this conversation is going to go faster than the hours. I can already tell you all that. So let me tell you how you can participate in the conversation. Those of you who are watching on Facebook, I already see you. Hi, Camry. Camry actually is an entrepreneur who helped us to start this entrepreneurship season. She's now at Spelman. But hi, Camry. Those of you on Facebook, please put your questions in the chat and I will get them into the conversation, or your high fives for Joe and John. Those of you who are in Zoom, you can put them in the chat directly in Zoom. Those of you who are listening, you can text your questions in 22333 and type JHUWL in the message. Look forward to hearing all of them. So let me first jump into this, which is what drew both of you to becoming entrepreneurs? I'll start with you, John, and then I'll go to Joe. What lit that spark in both of you?
Yes, I actually kind of started entrepreneur at quite a young age. My first business was in fourth grade. And at the time, I was a really heavy skateboarder. Before music, I thought I was going to be a pro skater. I was doing competitions. I was just pretty much all in the skate world. And I was like, I could create it. I know at the time people wanted to skateboard. I was like, I can, charge homework passes and teach my fellow students on how to skateboard after school. And that's just kind of how it started. And now it turned into how to solve issues within my community through creative solutions. And from that kind of formed Love Groove, that formed Blueprints and everything else that I'm doing. So that's kind of how it all went
I
in
love
place.
it. Fourth grader. So you must have been what, 8, 9 years old?
Yeah, well, however, I don't remember how old you are at that age, but that was also the same year I started learning how to play guitar. So
it's amazing. Yeah. We're gonna hear from you. We're gonna hear that guitar playing in a minute. So everybody, you're gonna get to hear a little bit of John's music. Joe, what inspired you to want to be an entrepreneur?
For me, I think it was when I was in college. I was always into music. My dad, he worked for several gospel record labels, and just seeing him and his work ethic and his ability to provide for the family, I felt like I really could never work for somebody. So when I was in college, Puffy just was like heavy. So I was just like, you know what? I want to be like Puff. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So my quote in my my high school yearbook was like a Puffy quote or something like that. So yeah, like I've just always been college, high school. I have to be an entrepreneur. I have to work for myself. I cannot work for anybody. I want to make a lot of money. That's all it was.
No, I love it. And I love how both of you started it while you were actually students, right? Of some sort, yeah. 4th grade, student in college, because we have many college students watching. We have a large audience watching today. And so I want to have you talk about, like, how did you go from, like, this is my passion. You listening to Puffy, thinking about, John, you're thinking about switching up in different businesses, but how did you go from idea to starting your business? Because there are folks wondering, like, so okay, I love music too, but you created a recording label. John, you're in a Groove Festival recording. So how did you start in the music industry? I'll start with Joe and then go to John.
So for me, so my last name is Wellsey, but I go by Inkwell. I kind of put that together myself. The ink is for, the writing I do. And I felt like I did it really well. So I kind of put that together. And it was kind of close to my last name. So that's where Inkwell came from. So I'm a songwriter first. I've been a part of, several, writing groups. But I realized a lot of the writing groups I was a part of really didn't have the resources that I had, to get into venues, to go to travel and do things like that. So I kind of took the backseat to my own personal writing career and started to manage other songwriters, to use my resources to, put them in better position. So from there, I started throwing parties. One of my frat brothers, Les Johnson, he gave me the opportunity to, start throwing parties. So I knew if I threw parties, I could connect with the different artists. Once I started connecting with the artists, I knew I could get them to come to my studio. So it was just all lined up perfectly for me.
Yeah, no, I love how you talked about, like, first of all, you thought through the name, which is a play off of your name. Yeah. Then you were a songwriter first, and then really thought about, like, all of the different pieces of the recording industry, right? So if you went to the party, you got the artist, you could be at all different levels within an industry by really thinking about how to creatively curate, like, these collisions where you would get to meet people that would need different component parts. I think that's really great advice for folks who are, like, gems that I wouldn't have known about. How about you, John? How did you get started? Love Groove Music Festival.
So I think it kind of started with the frustration of local venues and festivals not wanting to use their platform to support, their home-based artists, and kind of going to these different peoples in power who has the platform to put this person on and this person on, and just kind of seeing them like, nah, I'd rather book somebody in DC or, book someone who's not from here. And that just kind of always frustrated me. Mm-hmm. And also I kind of was really in all the different types of scenes. So I was in the hip hop scene that was happening in the city, the jazz scene, the rock scene, indie, alternative, literally everything you could possibly think of, because I just love music and kind of just like to have everything. And kind of seeing at the time, everyone kind of stayed in their own separate lane. Like you would never see the hip hop people with the rock people or rock with the jazz and so on and so on. And then there are also not being performance opportunities and all these shows happening on people's porches. I just kind of sat and was like, okay, no one else is going to do this, so I'm gonna try to figure out how I could take everyone for every scene, put them onto one stage, and let us be in like an actual venue. Like I could be the bridge to a nice venue and make sure all these artists get paid to be the play. And that is, I figured it out. It was a lot of trial and error. It wasn't as easy as I just made it sound. Like, trust me, really, it wasn't until the I would say the third show until we like really figured out what we were doing. But that's really how the base of everything of the Love Group Festival started. How it started.
I love how you just talked about, like, you did make it sound pretty easy, but I know there was a lot of sausage making in between there. But you talked about how in the beginning it didn't get to you to the point that you wanted it to be to the third time, which is helpful for a lot of entrepreneurs to know that you don't, where you start isn't where you end up. I want to ask you both this question, which is coming in the chat on Facebook, which is, who is your biggest inspirations? Joe, you gave us a little, so the Bad Boy records might be, but who else are your big, people are asking, who are your biggest musical inspirations? Joe?
So kind of to piggyback off of what John said, like I didn't know John before 2 days ago. And just to hear his story, it kind of mirrors mine. It's like when you have, you have an outlet, but a lot of people won't allow you to, be heard or be seen. You have to create your own. So like, that's what I did in the club. And he did it, with his concert series. So you just have to, it's like you're kind of putting yourself on the back to put other people in the forefront to give them the opportunity to be seen, because you already know what you can do. So it's kind of like, all right, I know I'm good. So let me put these other people on, put them in position. That way, if they make it before I make it, they can pull me back or bring me up. So, John, I would just say I want to salute you for, even taking the stride at a young age to create a festival.
Thank you. You too. It's very inspiring.
I will never miss another one of your festivals now that I know you. So I'll even come on as a sponsor, sponsor some studio time for any artists that you have at the festival. Like I'm all about, just JHU connects. I'm trying to connect. So let's connect and let's just get you and other artists out of here.
No,
yes, 100%. Oh. That's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you afterwards. We're gonna have to have a long conversation.
I am 100% supporting you in whatever you're doing at this point.
Oh, that is so great. I could end this whole right. No, I'm not ending it right now. I can end this all right now. I feel like I've done good in the world today and like go home, go to sleep. No, I love that. Let me ask you both, because this just illustrated this, which was so beautiful. Just in that last comment, which is, it's clear that neither of you play the comparison game. It is clear that you sort of live in a world of abundance where you believe that putting people on, elevating them is a part of the multiplication factor for yourself. So can you talk a little bit, because we have entrepreneurs on. Sometimes we struggle. We have people in the same industry and they're like, why would I want to be on with the same industry? But what stops you both from playing the comparison game? And Joe, what like motivated you just now to say to John, of course I'm coming to the Love Groove Music Festival. I need my tickets. John, I know you got.
Yes.
But what stops you from playing that comparison game in the music industry? Joe, what's motivating you?
So when you actually have talent, it's kind of like you really can't worry about what other people are doing. You just have to, kind of, bet on yourself, roll the dice on yourself. And again, it's just more so when you see yourself in other people, it's like, I know how it was to not have support on certain things, or just to need one person to come to the studio and invest in the idea that you see or that you want to come to, fruition, but they just don't get it because they don't understand that, how am I going to make my money? I want my money back right now. But somebody like me and John and say, trust me, the money is coming. You just have to trust this vision. And a lot of people don't. So like, I'm not the richest person in the world, but I feel like I have enough, within myself and resources for myself and others, such as John, a younger brother, in the same industry as me, because any mistakes that I made or things, that I couldn't see, I'm going to tell him everything so he doesn't make those same mistakes.
Beautiful.
Like, no, bro, shortcut, do this. And I promise you it's going to work out 100%.
No, I love it. I love it. How about you, John? I mean, beautifully said, Joe. What makes you make this platform? Stop from doing the comparison game.
Well, I have quite a few reasonings. One, just I kind of learned early on that everyone's really on their own path and everyone's going where they're supposed to go. And I remember when I really because I'm also an artist myself, and I came up with one of my friends. His name's Julian Chang, and Julian Chang, he got like we both like started in the same band in 8th grade, had a full band, and then like in 11th he got a record deal. He did a worldwide tour, and he even, I forgot, one of the members of the Beatles was like shouted him out like, this is the best new artist coming out. And kind of being next to him, I went through a phase of like, dang, why is that not me? And kind of just hating on it instead of like supporting it and having to, realizing I need to change my mindset. He's on the path for him. I need to really focus on myself and stay consistent with me. And getting lost in his world, made me lose track of mine. And now I'm kind of back at square one. And yeah, just going through that, I realized is way better to support each other than to, feel this enviness of hate. And also kind of coming up in the city, just losing, friends due to like gun violence or, other reasonings. That's a hard thing to go through. And really, I just want to see everyone get to where they need to be. And, and one person wins, Baltimore wins as a whole, because we don't really have a lot of people from the city who's like truly doing it. So now it's just all about love and support. That's what we really need to come together as a city for. So.
Yeah, no, I think you said something so powerful. I hope they captured this in the quotes that they put in Facebook. I know Jackie did, which is being concerned about his path took you off of yours. And I think that's so helpful for comparison game is real. Go ahead, Joe.
No, when he said that, it really touched me, because sometimes you can lose focus or sight of your own path because you're looking at somebody else's, and it just throw you off. But just stay centered, stay focused, stay on your own path, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, so true, so true. Beautifully said. I wonder, folks have asked this. Clearly, you both have huge supportive followings. You have huge support from your families and friends. What was your, received this in Facebook, how did your family and friends respond to you becoming an entrepreneur? And particularly in the music industry, did they say, you know what, I always knew that was going to be what they were going to do? Or they're like, oh, the music industry, that's really hard. Do you really want to do that? What was their response to you? And how did you use that either for fuel or not as a distraction? Joe, what was everyone's response?
So for me, I'll be completely honest. My family was not for it at all.
Yeah.
However, they were my biggest, investors and support.
Oh yeah.
But it'd be, no, you need to get a real job. You need to do this. You need to do that. But if it was time to, go to the music store and buy some equipment, or I needed to take a trip, like, they were the first ones to, look, man, I ain't doing this again, but how much you need? So it's like a love-hate, thing with entrepreneurship. But yeah, so that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, that's not uncommon for almost all the entrepreneurs. The music industry isn't. Everybody's like, I'll invest in you, but you want to get a W-2? Yeah. No, I agree with you. How about you, John? What did folks say? How did family, friends react to you wanting to go into?
In terms of, this is a 2-part answer for me. In terms of family, my mom, grandma, and dad have been like nothing but supportive. And it's kind of crazy to think about, like, going back to 4th grade, like, hey, mom, I want to start a skateboard business for homework passes. And she was right there with me, like helping me, handing out skateboards and helmets up until like, hey mom, I want to throw, a show, and which led into a festival. The first show and festival was like, it was just me, her, and the DJ. That was it. Like, through that. And that even made me want to quit because I was like, dang, I failed. And she was like, no, get back up, keep doing your thing. And then it turned into, what it is now at center stage. And yeah, just her, my dad, and my grandma have been they've been my biggest investors and supporters. But in terms of friends and like, people around me, I had pretty much no support from them in the very beginning. Like thinking back on 8th grade, when I first started like releasing music, everyone kind of hated it. And I was just getting mocked. People would play it. I was just getting trashed until, and up until like throwing my first event, nobody came to the first one. Like, so it honestly took a lot. And even like the first official love group, like I reached out to so many different bands of, various genres, and all of them thought it was crazy to be on the same stage with like a different genre. And it was so hard to get just an artist on the stage, even though, they was getting paid, even though it was like $50 at the time. It's not a lot, but it was still something for that time. So it honestly took a lot of consistency. It took a lot of, dealing with myself and trying to tell myself just to keep going, that don't give up. And, eventually people will come around. So that's pretty much how my story went.
No, I love how you said that, John, because the story of like your friends being some of the last adopters, you having a show where you're the only one showing up, and showing just to where you come to, just is remarkable. And you're 21, with like, I don't know if you realize like how young that is. But you are so young and you're so far ahead. I don't know, Joy, if you feel the same way, but I'm like listening to John, like, John, I want to get invested now. I'm gonna be a millionaire if I invest.
I was actually going to say, John just said something I'm going to share with him offline so we can get some business together. But you said something that resonated with me so much that, you sparked something inside of me just now. But yeah.
Wow. Don't forget.
Oh, I already took the note.
Okay.
No. Let me ask you both this, because you just both articulated challenges, and we've gotten this question in by text from one of our listeners, which is, what is the most challenging part of being in your industry? But also I want you to talk about the challenges, but they've also asked, what are some of the most satisfying moments of being in your industry? Like when are you feeling like this is it? So Joe, what about you? What's the most challenging part, but like what's the most satisfying part?
As far as challenges, I think John could probably attest to it. The industry right now, or for a long time, it's kind of changed into like a gimmicky thing, an overnight type of thing. Mm-hmm. And for people that really, take this serious in their passion, it's like, how can I be this great? And then I wake up and hear a song on the radio 100 times and it sucks, really. Yeah. And so a challenge of just kind of the support for real music will always be a thing. But it'll take time. It'll come through. Yeah.
And what's the most satisfying part for what you?
Satisfying is kind of for me at the studio, is the reaction that different artists get when they come in, hear our production or just our songwriting and stuff like that. Just the quality. I'm really big on quality. Mm-hmm. So when an artist comes, that may have been recording somewhere else and they didn't get what they wanted out of their project, and then they come here and say, oh, man, this is exactly what I was looking for. That's what makes it worth it for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How about you, John? What's the hardest that Joe said? You probably agree with the.
Oh yeah, he hit all the points. I mean, just to follow up on the first thing, I'm gonna take this as a perspective as being an artist that really takes music, their craft of music serious. It is very, now everything is not you. Now everything that's presented to us is pretty much garbage, in my personal opinion. And for the artists who really take it serious, you really have to play the long game Like, for example, one of my favorite artists, Anderson .Paak, J. Cole.
Oh, I
These
love
are
Anderson .Paak. Yeah.
incredible. Saw him live twice. Incredible.
Yes.
But Anderson .Paak, he has been like working and striving since he was 20. He didn't get like his first major record deal with Dr. Dre until he was like 32. Just to show you how long of that process was. But now I feel like Anderson .Paak is one of those artists that's like really here to stay for like forever. Like just the music he's making now is timeless. So just being able to stay for a long term is so hard now for like upcoming artists because people's attention spans is so tiny. Just to put that in perspective, I remember I was reading this article about Spotify, and for artists, musicians who like get their music on Spotify, being on the Spotify playlist is like one of the #1 things to get your music out there. And this article was saying how artists have approximately 2 seconds to press a leader song and move on to the next, just to show you like what people.
They have how
like,
long? You said, hold on, how long?
They have 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds. And so what does that put for artists, you know, trying to come up? It really makes it hard.
Yeah, no, such a good point. And I mean, I guess
that's a
really
great
song driven rather than like album driven now, right? Is that just
Yeah.
because like back in the day, songs would be 4 and 5 minutes. Now when you're in the studio, hey, we got 2 minutes to get their attention. Like 2 minutes to deliver something beautiful. Nah,
which is crazy. It's
bring
crazy.
The 5 minutes back, man.
bring the 5 minutes back.
It is so crazy. Just even this artist, her name is Tierra Whack. She's based out of Philly, and her like breakout project was like a 12-song album of 30-second songs. Like her first project, every song is 30 seconds, which is insane because you know she figured out how to play with people's attention span. So it's insane.
Wow. Now I've gotten this question, which builds off of that one from one of our listeners on Facebook, which is, and they said this question is for both speakers. What challenges did you face in the industry early on that now you are thinking about addressing for younger producers, entrepreneurs? Like what are the things that, you know, the lessons you've learned early on that now you think should be addressed right now for people coming behind you?
I know for me, I would say definitely patience, because, you know, when I first started, I thought the way it worked was, you know, I put my business out there 2 months, you know, I'm balling. But it took like 5 years really 10 years if you count all the events before Love Grew, and 10 years as an artist too, really just to be in a place to be able to talk with people who can help me get to the next level. So really patience, because it's really a longevity game, and really on who can, one can learn from their mistakes, because a lot of artists don't take that into mind. Like you should really be studying your analytics, because, you know, if you release a single, or this is for like music artists, or this really could be applied to any art, but releasing something and seeing that it's not doing so well, figure out why it didn't do so well, or ask people, how come you didn't like this and that, and help you to figure out for the next release that you can keep growing and elevating each time. And that's what I did for Love Group and for my personal self. And yeah, that's why every year we was able to like transition to a bigger venue. So yeah, having patience and, you know, really studying your analytics, I feel like are 2 big things that people can.
You've been here a while. You're not 21. You've been here a while. You've been here a while, Joe. You're a little older than what he's telling us. I think he is.
I don't think he's 21.
I don't think he's 21. I think somebody got that wrong on this show.
So as far as challenges, I would say the biggest challenge will always be finance. If you don't have the finance, you know, but just getting somebody to believe in, you know, what it is you're trying to do. Because even like in the nightlife, you can see people come out and just spend all of this money on bottles and liquor and champagne, and you just sit back like, man, you could have just invested that into an artist and made millions off of, you know, somebody that really had the talent. But just to say to the younger entrepreneurs and producers, don't be afraid to, share your work with people that may be able to help. I know a lot. I can have a lot of music and just, keep it to myself because you don't want people to steal it. But you have to share with people, in position. So I'll just say, if anybody, wants to come to the studio and play some music or share their music, like I'll be more than, glad to hear it, criticize, critique, and, help me any way I can.
That's beautiful, beautiful. And I love both of your hearts because you both think about music. I think it's like a calling, and it's evident in how you just think about the community and think about spreading the love. Let me ask this to segue off of something that Joe just said about capital, which is, how did you raise capital? John, I think you gave us a forecast that your mom, your dad, your grandma, they probably they were your first money in. But how do you think about raising capital, especially given that you're putting on festivals? And then I'm gonna go to Joe again, asking him how does he and how does he raise capital for the business? So John?
So I know in the very beginning, early stages, a lot of things were kind of funded out of my personal pocket. Like I was working at Starbucks, and I was I would not spend literally no money on anything, really just really investing in myself and in my business. And of course I had my mom, who I also helped put up some money, and my dad and grandma, and just trying to figure out how to make the perfect experience for people or the perfect product. And it really, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, we really didn't start making profit until this year, until our women's show. Where we had like money coming in, and then we finally were able to get, sponsors from different organizations, like PNC Bank, MICA, Loyola Black Arts District. And it really was a long process, and really trying to be able to show businesses and people that this is like, we're trying to do something good for the community and be able to show them that they can benefit off it too. So it really took a long time really to get to the point where we're at now.
I hope some funders are watching so they know how to get in contact with you. I'm gonna get into how we can get
I was going to say no shade to the guys, but the women's shows always are success. Make the biggest impact on things that
You can tell them come on in. Tell them come on in. Come. Oh, they're gone. They
said they're going to the B room. But what he was saying, it's like the female shows have the biggest turnouts, have the most success, and they just do great. So shout out to all the women. Like Beyonce said, girls run the world. So
girls run the world. That's great. That's great. So the question, Joe, is like about capital. So how did you think about building capital for your studio and creating your brand?
Capital. So my tenure as a party promoter really opened up the door for me to be able to pretty much finance my own career. Like I said, my family helped out a lot, but you just kind of have to find something outside of what it is that you're trying to do. Like we were both trying to do music. We're all doing music, but you have to find kind of like a side hustle to kind of finance it. And my side hustle just happened to be, throwing parties. And the money in throwing parties, set up a lot of great things for me. So I'll always be indebted to people celebrating their birthdays and divorces, whatever you want to call it. A celebration always brings some money. So
yeah, no, I love it. And I love how that is a different way. Now, let me ask you this, which is if you could go back, what do you wish was existed that would have helped to make your capital raise, like you be able to flourish? What do you wish existed in the marketplace? Because we have a number of people watching who are investors, people who are thinking about how can I invest to make sure that Inkwell recording studios could have come out faster. that Love Grew Festival would have been able to pop even sooner. So what do you wish existed in the marketplace?
So I think, when I was coming up, we really didn't have social media. So John has the luxury of, social media, different platforms. Like we had stuff like MySpace. I guess I'm showing my age at this point.
What'd you call it? What did you?
MySpace. MySpace, but
oh yeah, MySpace.
Yeah, we were still using like actual physical flyers to promote these parties, like being out at 1 and 2 in the morning, putting flyers on cards to say, oh, we're having a party next week. So if we had social media back, when I first started, I think it would have been bigger help to the cause.
Yeah. How about you, John? What would you say? What would you hope existed? I mean, you're 10 years in, you're 21, but what do you think?
Well, in terms of investors, if they really, got to know about the community, because most investors are not really within the community and pretty much just invest in all the big name organizations. And instead of really going into the community who absolutely needs some money to help make a change, I think that's a big thing that really needs to start happening, because there's so many cool things happening here in the city. Even when I went to Philly, there's so many cool things happening in the city of Philly, but all the money really goes to the big organizations that don't really do nothing, but that say, they help Black and Indigenous and LGBTQ people, but it really no change. So I really think investors really investing in the people who know the people that can help change the people. Yeah. I hope that makes sense.
And I will also say, platforms like this, because you figure
100%.
I said it, he said it. Like, we created platforms for other people, but we didn't create a platform to bring together entrepreneurs to link up and connect. So big shout out to, John Hopkins Connects for this platform. Because if there's some investors on here, let's get the money to John.
Let's get a money that we're gonna have enough money to give it to both of you, because both of you are doing good things in our community and really advancing us forward. But you're right. We created this platform really to uplift entrepreneurs, and we've been very blessed to be able to reach over 140 entrepreneurs and utilize our platform. So
it's funny you say that, because when I got asked to do it, I thought it was like a new thing. So then when
it's new. We only been on for a year.
When I started doing the research, I'm scrolling back. I'm seeing all these entrepreneurs. I'm like, okay, I'm not that fresh on the scene, but no, I think it's great. Like, I've seen, people that I knew that I didn't even know that they did this. So I guess that we can say that we need to we all need to pull together. Even after we do it, we need to continuously promote it to other people.
Yeah, that's right. Thank
you. Now that I know about it, I'll always post, whatever you guys are doing, just to give.
100%.
Oh, thank you both. That leads me to.
And me and John are going to do the big party. We need everybody. We need all of the anybody who's ever participated in this. We're going to get together. We're going to provide the venue, the entertainment, all of that stuff.
All right, we're on this. You heard it here first. This is Inkwell Recording Studios, John Tyler Sounds Production. I am with it. We will follow up. Don't worry. That's a real thing. We've been talking about that. No, it's been great. I wonder. We have a number of high school students watching today, and so they wanted me to pose this question to both you, Joe and John, which is, what advice do you give to them? They want to become entrepreneurs. They want to be recording artists, producers. What piece of advice could you give to them at this point in their development, their life?
Yeah, well, I know for me, definitely to not be afraid to ask questions and to ask for what you need. Because I know Bloomberg is sponsoring this event really my whole career started with Bloomberg when I was 16. Like they came to the city and they was giving people jobs, like high paying jobs at like big organizations like Baltimore Orchestra, Maryland Public Television. And I was at Maryland Public Television and they were like doing all these videos. And I just asked, I asked the director if I could just make the music for it. And she said, you know what, why not? And that literally snowball, there we go. Like, you know, the Under Armour, Visit Baltimore, the Hulu, like that literally started everything. So just being able to ask a question. I know a lot of kids nowadays have like really strong anxiety and they rather stay to themselves and, you know, not talk, but really networking is really all what it's all about. Cause, you know, I was told at a young age, it's really who you know. And as I'm starting, that is 100% true.
So 100%, it's 100% true. 100% true. We were talking before the show, John's attorney is one of I call her like, she's a juggernaut in the legal profession, like one of the big queens of law, like know folks from Under Armour, like so many collaboration. Joe's been on the scene, just been somebody we've been trying to get on for a long time. But Joe, you know, so just really blessed to have both of you on here. So how about you, Joe? How have you been thinking? How do you market? Like, what's your advice to those high school students that are watching?
So he hit the number one, which is network. Mm-hmm. The bigger your network, the bigger chance you have to be successful. Yeah. You have to have thick skin. You can't break down after, you know, somebody says something that you don't want to hear. Mm-hmm. You just got to be tough. But the number one thing I would say is you have to kind of be, you know, realistic. Yeah. Like you may think that your music is really, 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 really good. But it may be really, 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 really bad. Not to say that somebody can tell you your music is bad, but you really just kind of have to, you know, share it with people and let others listen and give their opinions on it. Because if you let 10 people hear it and 9 of them say, oh, I would buy this, I would support this, pretty good chance you can be successful. Yeah. But if you go 1 for 9, it's kind of like, maybe you should think about doing something else. And that's just reality. Like, it's not for everybody. Yeah. But if you believe in yourself, you know, stay with it. But just share yourself with other people and get their opinions, because you can't buy all of your own music. No. You need fans, you need supporters. They're the ones that are going to be spending the money. So, yeah.
I also follow up with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, well, 2 things I want to say. The first thing I would say, whatever your craft is, I would say learn every job that involves the craft. So if you're like into music, like learn how to engineer, learn how to produce, learn how to play an instrument, because 9 times out of 10, the opportunity that can help you get to where you need to be might be in one of those jobs. It might not be what you want to do as like the first career, but can help you lead into being in a position to get to where you want to be just by knowing how to do another job. So learning multiple jobs, I think, is very important. And also utilizing social media. Like I went to Philly a couple of weeks ago. And before I went to Philly, I literally sat down, I typed in Philly music, hashtag Philly music on Instagram, DM'd 300 Philly people, and out of the 300, like 160 responded. I literally got to see the whole scene by utilizing social media. So, wow. Yeah, like Joe was saying, he didn't have Instagram and Twitter when he was coming up. So like for everyone that's like in high school, like it's really a big platform that really change everything, and you can connect with people in China off it. So really like utilize social media in a good way.
Yeah, yeah.
And before I forget,
go ahead, Joe.
Based on something that he said, if you get in a room with, you know, big names or just people that you feel like, you know, can change your life or can change your situation, what I would say is, don't always focus on them. Because if somebody else is in that room, they're there for a reason. Yep. I remember I was in Miami. I had a pretty big meeting. It was with Cash Money. So I'm in there with Baby and Slim. And it went pretty good. But the longest conversation I had was with the engineer.
Yeah.
I didn't take the time to get the contact of the engineer.
Yeah.
I was just so focused on, Baby and Slim. But had I, connected with the engineer, anything outside of Cash Money, he could have been working on other projects because he had a skill set that Cash Money needed. Therefore, other, artists or labels needed that same skill set.
Mm-hmm.
I should have connected with the engineer, got his information, and built the relationship with him. So when you're in a room, connect with everybody. Connect with the janitor, connect with the valet person, the lunch lady, everybody. Because at some point, those people are, privileged to certain things. So connect, network.
It's so great gems that you both gave to high school students, but really that could stand for anybody, right? Most people look at that bright light in the room, and I'm just like you, Joe. I was like, nah, let me figure out who actually made this room happen. Who are the people that are going to stay in this room, and who's going to persist? Because you're never going to get to that light. I mean, it just you're never getting that phone number. You're never getting that email, but you can get the engineer's email. You're right. You can get all these other people, and that you can work that and get to. You're so right. Great gems. So a couple of questions that have come in through phone. Someone asked, people are giving y'all your kudos. So after this, I hope you go on Facebook. I hope you see how people are shouting y'all out, loving on both of you. But how have you been able to create your own vision for music without compromising? Because you both talked about how, there is an attraction to do like things that are just like popular, but not core to substance in the music industry. So how did you get feedback, study, stay true to sort of your vision for music and for the integrity of what you're doing?
Well, I know for me, excuse me, finding out, because, I'm from here, and sometimes, your mind could be so, kind of in a bubble from what the actual world is. And I realized, my headphone. And I realized there's an audience literally for everything.
Yeah.
And realizing that really helped me to stay true to myself and my personal sound. Because there has been times where I made the records, that I know would be, go to top 40, top 10, but I'm gonna be stuck in a place where I'm not who I really am. And do I want my biggest work to be something that, that's not me? And the answer is no. Heck, no, definitely not. Yeah. So just staying true to yourself and trying to find who your audience is. And most of the time, for any artist, if you just look at, artists who are bigger than you, if they're working similar, for me personally, I feel like my music would fit. If I opened up for Anderson .Paak, it would make sense. So all of Anderson .Paak's fans are basically my fans. They just don't know me yet. So
that's right. All Anderson .Paak's fans are your fans. They just don't know you yet. I love that. Beautiful.
Yeah, just sticking to your craft and just knowing it's the long game that counts. So
I love it. Joe, how about you? How have you been able to not compromise, keep your integrity in the music industry?
I would just kind of go back to what I said earlier. Just like myself, John, create a platform. Yeah. If you create the platform, then people will come. And if you have something for them that that they like, they'll stay. They won't leave your side. They call them supporters for a reason. They call them fans for a reason. Just create the platform. Do what it is that you have to do to create the platform, but allow people to come see, what it is that you have to share. And chances are that they're going to like it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I want to pivot for a second. Okay, a couple things. I want to pivot as we have confirmed that Oprah's watching today. So this is big deal. This is a big deal. She doesn't watch every show, although I hope she does. So what is your advice for Oprah?
Shout out to Oprah. I just got to say shout out to Oprah. It's Oprah.
Shout out to Oprah.
Hey,
shout out to Oprah. Shout out to, put it in the chat. Shout out. So what advice would you give for Oprah, investors at her level, but investors at, the consumer level? How can we support more businesses like yours? How can we support entrepreneurs like yours, like you? How can we make sure that we have a multiplier effect, that more of you are thriving and not just surviving, but thriving in our community? What's the advice you would give to Oprah and to all of us who are watching?
Yes, I think, being as someone, my mom watched Oprah's TV show of when she interviews a bunch of famous people and like getting to know the backstory. And I kind of have a slight backstory of Oprah and just knowing her platform, where she started and kind of came from nothing to now to this billionaire. I would definitely say, Oprah, to don't forget, where you came from, and that there's other artists or, businesses in general that, were at the level that she once were. And you can definitely be a reasoning for a lot of people's lives to change within the community and help like support people as a whole. So yeah, I think that's I think that's the best advice
using
you
the
can.
platform. I think to your point, right? The idea is that whatever platform you have, can you use it to help others? And Oprah does a great job of using her platform. Yeah. I love it. And you're right. The for all of us, it commends us to use our platforms to uplift others. Joe, how about you? What's your word?
I would say the first thing that comes to mind is, again, shout out to Oprah. But I would say go to every city, every state, and try to, have some type of, ambassador to kind of, spearhead entrepreneurs, to spearhead creativity and stuff like that, because there's a lot of people, with dreams that just don't have the platform or the outlet. Like it's so many people, with talent. And John brought it up, like violence in so many cities.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like so many artists, pass away pursuing a dream because they go different routes, all trying to make money to support or finance their dreams. But get into the trenches. Like it's so much talent in the city. It's just so much talent anywhere, but everywhere. But you have to be there, or even have people appointed to certain councils to say, look, what's going on in this city? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? Just come back. And I know Oprah has roots in Baltimore, so
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, somebody, I can't tell who did this in the chat. They said shout out to John and shout out to Joe. I don't know if that's Oprah, but somebody said shout out to both of you.
I think wasn't her first big time gig here? I believe so. I remember so
on the news.
On the news. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing. Let me ask you both this question, which is what's next? Because we're gonna let John play us some music as we go out. Y'all get ready. Get ready to hear some of the sounds of John. But what's next for both of you? What's the next thing? You're gonna reveal it today on Entrepreneurship Matters, but what's next for both of you, and how can we be supportive of both of you? I'll add that part on to that question. So, Joe, what's the next big thing?
For me, next is just to keep going in the direction I'm going. So again, shout out to John Hopkins Connects for the opportunity. And this is my very first interview ever.
What?
Oh wow!
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I've turned down so many interviews because I really didn't want to, kind of be in the spotlight. But like my team has, pushed me to say, look, man, it's time for you to get out the story and do things like that.
This is your first interview. I appreciate it, man.
And big shouts to Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here today. So that's what. So as far as the future, like I said, I'm gonna just keep going, supporting, pulling up. So again, John, any support you need from me, just reach out. I'm a phone call away, a DM away, whatever. You have my contact. Let's just get together and do it for the city, man.
I love it. So beautiful. Thank you, Joe.
Shout out to Oprah one more time.
Oprah, she's still watching. Shout out to Oprah again. John, how about you? What's the next big thing?
So I have started another business. It's called Love Groove Entertainment. And basically Love Groove Entertainment is gonna be like the head of everything I do. So the festival will be under it. And it's also I'm creating a our apprenticeship, I guess you can say. I really wanted to like go in, and Joe, this is where we could definitely collaborate on, like work with upcoming artists to make their projects, no matter what genre that they want to do, and be able to help them to learn about the business, help them learn how to network, and then put them on the platform to perform at the festival. Because I think it was really good be able to create a festival, but this year was so important to me because it was the first year where we were able to add education to it, which is such a great purpose, because it's good to perform and to get paid and, to feel great, but long-term wise, what did it really do? So be able to have a platform so people can learn how to further their career to the next level, I think is really what's next, and really trying to focus on that for the artists in the city.
I love it. Both of you have a multiplier effect in your work. Let me just tell you how honored I am to have been able to interview you both. This has been one of the most enjoyable, rewarding, and inspiring Entrepreneurship Matters for me personally. And I know for those watching, y'all getting a lot of love. So I hope you watch it, boost your day. Let me let people know how to contact you before we let John give us some tunes as we go out. Joe, how can people get in contact with you, your studio, your IG? Love your channels.
So my personal IG is Inkwell with 5 underscores, INKWLL 5 underscores. As far as the studio, Inkwell Recording Studios, that's on all social media platforms. And before I wrap up, I just want to give a shout out to my Heart Smiles crew. Joni,
you got Cam on here. Cam been I
said, yeah. Joni reached out to me about teaching the trade to some of the youth of the city. We've been rocking out for like 7 weeks now. We're a family now. I love those guys. So shout out to the Heart Smiles crew, and see y'all on Tuesday.
Love it, love it, love it. How about you, John? How can we get in contact with you?
So my social medias on every platform is John Tyler Sounds, and John with an H, because some people be spelling my name, which is Jon. And in terms of Love Group, also my email is johntylersounds@gmail.com. Anyone wish to email me about whatever, I'm pretty much open. I talk to everyone that reaches out. And for Love Groove, you can visit lovegroovemusicfestival.com. The email is contact@lovegroovemusicfestival.com. Or just Love Groove Music Festival on all social media platforms.
All right, great. Let me let people know those if you didn't get to take that down, it is in the chat, both on Zoom, but it's also in the chat on Facebook, so you can take those down for later. All right, so John, come on, John. We know the sound might not be great because that would be ours. That would be our sound, not John's sound. But John, play us.
Bring us home, John. Bring us home.
Bring it. So beautiful, so beautiful. I know I'm not alone in saying I can see why you are throwing music festivals. You are right. They don't Anderson Paak, his fan don't know you yet, but they should. It has been a pleasure again. Let me thank all of our sponsors and then close out for us today. So want to say next week we're coming back with featuring 2 entrepreneurs who own their own thrift stores. Danielle Williams of Illicit Rage Vintage and Zakia Shivers of Tight Fisted Fashion. I think we might get a fashion show on next week, so stay tuned for that. Follow us on Jage Connects on Twitter, Facebook, And Instagram, please email feedback to us at jhconnects@jhu.edu. Want to thank our partners, Johns Hopkins University, Johns Hopkins Health System, Hopkins Local, the Mayor's Office of Small and Minority Women-Owned Business, Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, and Bloomberg Philanthropies. Thanks you, Joe. Thank you, John. Really appreciate you both.
And I want to speak for myself and John when I say, Alicia, you've been great. You've been amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You made the interview for me easy, effortless. So now I'm looking forward to doing a lot of interviews. So
Yeah, see, look, now I'm bringing you to the world.
I'm red carpet ready now.
Red carpet ready. That's right.
But none of them gonna be as good as this. Like you really outdid yourself.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
To both of you.
Well, thank you. Y'all have a good one. Y'all have a